Shimun VIII Yohannan Sulaqa was the first patriarch of what was to become the Chaldean Catholic Church from 1553 to 1555, after it broke from the Church of the East into full communion with the Holy See in the Catholic Church. Yohannan Sulaqa's ascension as patriarch was part of the 1552 schism in the Church of the East, which resulted in the establishment of rival patriarchates and ultimately a permanent rift in the Church of the East. He was elected by those who opposed the hereditary patriarchal succession within the Eliya family, and he took an unprecedented step in the Church of the East. He traveled to Rome, accepted the Catholic creed, and was consecrated as patriarch in 1553, after at first failing in an attempt to join the Syriac Orthodox Church. His reign did not last long though. Upon his return, due to strong opposition by the opposing patriarch, Sulaqa was imprisoned by the Ottoman leader of Amadiya, tortured, and executed in January 1555. He is considered a martyr of the Catholic Church. Background: up until the schism of 1552, the Church of the East was united in a single patriarchate and the episcopal see was located in the ancient city of Alkosh. However, in the 15th century the Patriarch Shimun VIII made the office hereditary in his own family, the Eliya line. This was made possible through the ancient canon law of the Church of the East, which decreed that only metropolitan bishops could confirm a patriarch. As a result, Shimun IV and his successor only appointed the family members as metropolitan bishops, in order for the uncle to choose his brothers or nephews to succeed him as patriarch. This designated successor, once consecrated as metropolitan bishop with right of succession, was called Natikursi. The Patriarch Shimun VIII Yohannan, consecrated either towards the end of 1538 or early in 1539, was highly unpopular due to his illicit activities in profligate life, selling church properties and allowing the use of concubines. Furthermore, he consecrated his own nephews at the ages of 12 and 15 as metropolitan bishops. These actions led to wide protest, causing further upheaval and instability in the church. Life: Yohannan Sulaqa was born c. 1510 to Daniel Bitbalu, a member of an Assyrian family in the Mosul region of northern Mesopotamia. Around 1540 Sulaqa became abbot of Rabban Hormizd monastery in Alkosh. The literal translation of Sulaqa in English is ascension. Widespread complaints emerged against Shimun VII's consecration of his younger nephew as his designated successor. This led to 3 non-related bishops of Shimun VII to call an assembly in Mosul of clergy, monks, and church members from 10 regions to elect the hesitant Yohannan Sulaqa as the new patriarch. However, a bishop of metropolitan rank was needed at the ceremony in order to consecrate Sulaqa as patriarch, as the Eliya family would obviously object to it, and since the Syriac Orthodox Church also declined due to doctrinal differences. Yohannan Sulaqa made the decision of asking Pope Julius III of Rome to celebrate the consecration. Yohannan Sulaqa, along with 70 delegates, traveled to Jerusalem to meet the custodian of the Holy Land. The group managed to persuade the Franciscan friars that they agreed with the Catholic faith, and expressed the desire to have Sulaqa confirmed as Patriarch of a new Assyrian Catholic Church by the Pope. The friars gave him a letter of presentation to the Pope, and Sulaqa traveled to Rome, where Andreas Macius gave him assistance as a translator in the court of Pope Julius III. Yohannan Sulaqa requested the Pope consecrate him as Patriarch. He justified this request by informing the papacy that after Shimun VII Yohannan's death in 1551, his nephew would succeed him as the head of the church. But this nephew was not qualified to be consecrated as bishop because the restrictions pronounced in the canonical law regarding age were violated. Moreover, it was understood that the young nephew had died. For this reason, many historians such as T. and F.E. postulate the existence of one Shimun who reigned in Alkosh from 1552 to 1558. More recently, scholars such as Habe and Lampart, as well as Becketi in the 18th century, suggest on the contrary that Shimun VII did not die in 1551 but reigned till 1558. Thus Sulaqa had lied to the Pope. On February 20, 1553, Yohannan Sulaqa made a profession of faith in front of the Pope. On April 9, 1553, he was consecrated as bishop in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome by Cardinal John Alvarez y Alvarado de Lado, Op. Sulaqa's appointment as patriarch was ratified by the papal bull entitled Divina Disponum Te Clementia. In the course of the papal consistory held on April 28, 1553, Sulaqa received the pallium i.e., the sign of his patriarchal authority, from the hands of the Pope. After his consecration, he took the traditional Aramaic Christian name Shimun VIII. Yohannan Sulaqa traveled by land on his way back to Constantinople and from there to the northern town of Amid, where he arrived on November 12, 1553 and established his see. He was accompanied by the Bishop Ambrose Buttigieg, a powerful Maltese clergyman, who was specially appointed as nuncio for Mosul. However, in January 1555 he was summoned, imprisoned for many months, tortured and executed, probably by drowning, by the local Pasha of Amadiya, instigated by the partisans of Shimun VII, shortly after ordaining 5 metropolitans. In the Catholic Church, he is considered a martyr. Sulaqa's brother, Joseph Mar of India, held the office from 1556 to 1569 of Metropolitan of the St. Thomas Christians in South India. Title: Yohannan Sulaqa was pointedly given the title of Patriarch of Mosul and Atha in Rome, not in a restrictive sense, but meaning of the Church of the East, and at the time, Kerala aside, was exclusive to northern Mesopotamia, the former Assyria. The Chronicle of the Carmelites states that Sulaqa was proclaimed Patriarch of the Eastern Assyrians, but on April 19, 1553 the title was changed to Patriarch of the Chaldeans, in reference to the Old Testament, which gives Abraham's birthplace as Ur of Chaldees at a time long before the Chaldeans entered Mesopotamia, rather than to any ethnic or geographic link with the long-extinct Chaldeans of the southeastern extremities of Iraq. Many modern scholars also now believe Abraham's Ur was actually in Anatolia. The term Chaldeans had a history of being used in an ethnically and geographically inaccurate sense by Rome, having been previously officially used by the Council of Florence in 1445 as a new name for a group of Greek Nestorians of Cyprus who entered into full communion with the Catholic Church. Rome followed to use the term Chaldeans to indicate the members of the Church of the East in communion with Rome, also in 1681 for Joseph I, and later in 1830 when Yohannan VIII Hormedes to the line of Alkosh became the first Patriarch of Babylon of the Chaldeans of the modern Chaldean Catholic Church. The Shimun line. Shimun VIII Yohannan Sulaqa was the first incumbent of the Shimun line of the Church of the East. This patriarchal see was initially located in Amid, but very soon moved to Siet, then to Urmia, then to Khosrawar, and from the second half of 17th century to Ottoman. The last patriarch of this line recognized by the Pope was Shimun IX Dinka, and later there were only few correspondences thought missionaries. This see reintroduced in 1600 the traditional hereditary system for patriarch succession, a practice unacceptable to Rome. In 1692, Patriarch Shimun XIII Dinko broke formally the communion with Rome and returned his members to the independent Church of the East. The Patriarchate of the present-day branches of the Church of the East forms the continuation of this line.